Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Carp Gurus. As you can see, I'm back in the car, and once again, I'm going to a fishery I've not been to before. So, where am I going? I'm going to South Cliff Farm Fishery for a 48-hour session, and as always, I'm going to get there, I'm going to get set up, and then I'll be back with an update. Well guys, I said I'd be back with an update, and here I am. It's update time. So yeah, it's now around 9 p.m. and yeah, it is a late update. It's 9 o'clock, it's dark, and today has just been a really long and really tiring day. It took 3 hours to get here. It was a long walk from the car to the peg that I'm in now, which is the peg I booked. And yeah, there's a massive moth flying in my face. Freaking me out, but it's fine because we're back on the bank and we're fishing. It's freaking me out again. I can hear some sort of sounds. That is a huge moth. Anyway, it'll probably land on my nose or something while I'm talking, or go up my nose or something. But anyway, if I catch a carp, it can stay up there, it can stay up my nose. Anyway, let's get back on track here because I'm rambling on about a moth. Yeah, as I've said, really long and really tiring day, but we're set up and we're doing it. So yeah, when I first arrived, long walk to the peg, got that done and dusted, and yeah, I found loads of carp in front of this peg. So I started on adjustable zigs with 12mm pop-ups, fished just under the surface, put 3 rods out doing that, and I thought, yeah, it's going to happen. Anyway, 3-4 hours later, nothing had happened. They were just completely ignoring it. They were right there, they were near the surface, the zigs were at the correct height based on where I've been seeing carp, but they weren't having it. And I've done well on zigs in the past. I am confident in zigs, or on zigs should I say, but this time they just didn't do the business. Anyway, moving on. After I tried that for a while, the temperature started to drop and the fish activity on the surface completely died down. So I thought, right, I'm going to set some rods up now to fish on the bottom and we'll get ready for the night ahead. So I switched everything over to solid bags and 3 rods went out on nice firm clay spots in the open water. 3 solid bags, 10mm wafters, smart liquid squirted inside, full of attraction. Boom, the rods were out. Anyway, once the rods were out, the action started, and sadly it wasn't from carp, it was from bream. Yeah, it was non-stop. I was getting I thought it was liners at first, maybe a few of them were liners, but I was getting loads of finicky runs. I was getting the tip knocking, the tip shaking, I was getting beeps here, beeps there, and I know it's bream trying to take the bait. So straight away you can put money on it that the pellets have been eaten. And yeah, with them trying to pick up my hook bait as well, I wasn't happy with how the rig could possibly sit in, because you know, fish are tampering with it. Also, it's a supple braid, so it doesn't reset. So I thought, right, I need to change what I'm doing. Solid bags aren't the one on this venue. As I've said before, they have become my go-to, but yeah, if I need to adapt, I will adapt. I'm not going to put 3 rods out, not be happy with them, and then just go and sit in the bivvy. It's not me. I'm here to catch, I'm here to do my best, and I'm here to provide my subscribers with the best footage I can. So anyway, I made the effort, reeled all the rods in. After doing the zigs and going to solid bags, I thought, right, let's go for big fish tactics. So now I'm on helicopter setups with stiff hinge rigs, 15mm pop-ups topped off with fake corn. That's what's on the rigs, and then I'm baiting up with 20mm boilies scattered, which is standard tactics when you're fishing helicopter setups with the stiff hinges. Scattering a boilie usually does the job. So yeah, 3 rods out on a nice firm clay area all over a scattering of 20mm boilies. Now these rods have been in now for around 2 hours since I've changed what I'm doing, and I'm not getting any more knocks, I'm not getting any more finicky runs, and the constant beeping has stopped. So yeah, it was definitely the right decision. Yeah, and at least I know if a bream tries to take it with this setup, it's probably going to reset. You know, it'll probably just straighten the rig out a bit, or at the worst it'll get nailed and I'll reel it in. But at least you know, unless the bream's hooked, you're still presented and you're still fishing. So yeah, that's how I'm fishing it now. And yeah, as I've said, really busy day, but I'm learning about this water. It's the first time I've been here, so I've had to adapt. The zigs didn't do it when I arrived. The solid bags were just getting mauled by bream, and now we're on the helicopter setups with the stiff hinge rigs for the night ahead, probably for tomorrow as well, to try and just target a big carp, because after all, that's why we're here. We're not here for bream. My dog's fine, he's asleep at the side of me, you can't see him, but he's had a great time, he's chilling out, he's lying down, and he's now settled. And I failed to mention earlier, my dad is with me on this session as well. So yeah, we're in pegs side by side, and it's been great catching up with my dad because I have just been on holiday, so I've not seen him for a while. So yeah, I'm fishing and my dad's fishing. I am on peg 6 on the farm side, it's called, and my dad's on peg 7 again on the farm side. Obviously we're next door. Tactics wise for my dad, he's using solid bags. To be honest, he's not had any bream activity, which is strange really. But even though he's using solid bags, he's using a slightly bigger bait, so maybe I could have done that rather than changing over to the stiff hinges. But I thought, you know what, I just want to go all out on a boilie approach and see if that does the trick. But yeah, as I've said, my dad's still on solid bags, but he's using slightly bigger hook baits, and yeah, he's not had any problems with bream so far, so that's good. At least he can use what he's confident in, and hopefully it'll work for him. He's not had anything yet, same goes for me obviously, and we're just relaxing and taking it in. So yeah, all the rods are out, my rods are out, my dad's rods are out, and there's nothing else to do really now. It's just a case of relaxing, kicking back, taking it all in, and obviously if something happens during the night, I'll get back to you. If not, I'll update you in the morning. First fish of the session, and this fish went to my dad. Left hand rod, solid bag in the margins, and this is a result, a nice mid double. Good morning everyone. You know what time it is, it's update time. So yeah, it's now around 9 AM, and in regards to catching carp, I've not managed to catch any yet. It's been a really quiet night for me. Nothing happened, but then at around 6 AM this morning I had a screaming run. So yeah, I stormed out the bivvy like you do, struck into it, felt the fish, but then after a couple of seconds the hook pulled. So yeah, very disappointing, but we all know these things happen, and it's something that we have to deal with in carp fishing. In regards to my dad, he's had one carp, and yeah, you will have seen that by now already. But yeah, what a great looking carp it was, a nice mid double, and my dad's first fish from this venue. So yeah, it's always nice to catch your first fish from a new venue, and hopefully he'll catch some more, and hopefully I'll catch some as well. In regards to today then, as soon as I woke up this morning, there was fish all over the place again, so I took the helicopter setups and stiff hinge rigs off, and I put two rods, should I say, on adjustable zigs, and then the third rod I set up a basic floater setup, and I've been having a play with that, casting that towards fish that I'm seeing on the top. Yeah, and I have had a fish on that basic floater setup, but it wasn't a carp, it was a bream. It was the biggest bream I've ever caught, but still, yeah, it's a bream. took a monster crab pop-up off the surface as soon as it landed in the water, so definitely fancied the monster crab pop-up, but obviously it's just not what we're after. But yeah, I'll show you the bream anyway. It was a big bream, as I've said. It's probably the biggest bream I've caught, so it is going in the vlog. You'll see it probably next. But yeah, I didn't have pictures with it and all that. It's just to show you, so you know how the sessions you know, panning out and how it's going. So yeah, I've been hard at it all morning, fishing on top, sitting it out on the zigs, on the buzzers, but all I've got to show for it so far is a bream. But hey ho, I'm cracking on, I'm being positive, and I think if anything's going to happen, it's probably going to be tonight. I spoke to a few carpers, everyone's saying that the margins is the one. And my dad had his fish from the margins, so yeah, I'm gonna pay a bit more attention to the margins tonight when I switch the rods over to the you know, the heli setups and stiff hinges. When I switch back over for tonight, I'm going to investigate the margins a bit and maybe put 1 or 2 rods there. At least 1 rod's gonna go in the margins tonight. But yeah, as it stands right now, it's still hot, there's still fish cruising about, so I'm going to sit it out on the zigs, keep persevering with the floater rod as well. If I see fish close in, try and drop some floating bread on its nose, or maybe a pop-up, and just stay active, but most of all enjoy the session. It's my first session back after being on holiday. And although I've not caught a carp yet, I'm enjoying spending time with my dad, I'm enjoying filming, and I'm enjoying learning about a new water. This is the dad in action once again. He's had one, he's lost one, as I've already said, and then he's just had fish number 2 right now. Definitely an upper double. We're going to weigh it shortly, but yeah, I'm saying upper double, nice looking common, and yeah, the second fish on the bank for my dad. It's definitely kicking off now in my dad's peg. Another carp, fish number 3, and my dad's biggest on this session and biggest from this venue, weighing in at 18 pounds 7. Another cracking looking common. Well guys, after fishing hard all day, trying to catch carp from the upper layers, it's finally update time. So yeah, it's now around 8:30 p.m. and as I've said, I fished hard all day, but it's just not paid off. I've had 1 rod on a basic floater setup and 2 rods on adjustable zigs, and none of them produced. All that they produced was the big bream on the floater setup. So yeah, I'm still just on the big bream. Obviously you know about the fish I lost really early morning off the bottom, but yeah, other than that, nothing's changed. I could see fish today on the surface, which is why I decided to work at my fishing and fish on the surface and fish the adjustable zigs, which I do usually do well on. But yeah, on this occasion the carp were just not interested. I think they were more interested in sunbathing. Tried fluoro pop-ups, tried floating bread, tried different flavours of pop-ups, different colours, fluoro, washed out pop-ups. None of them did the business. But yeah, I don't mind. I've done my best, that's the main thing, and I'm still happy that I gave it my all today, because that's what it's about. You get out on the bank, you do your best, and there's nothing else you can do. As for my dad, you'll have probably noticed by now that he's having a really great session. He's starting to come together, so he's now on 3 fish. Biggest fish was 18 pounds 7, cracking looking common. There was another common we filmed. We said we was going to weigh it shortly. Obviously we've now weighed that. That one came in at 16 pounds 7, if you was wondering the weight of that fish. And yeah, it's coming together for him. So yeah, he's on 3 fish, biggest 18 pounds 7. He lost 1, and we've still got a full night ahead, so who knows, it could really turn into a red letter session for him, and I hope it does, because he deserves it. So yeah, as it stands right now then, in regards to myself, I've switched everything back over now to the helicopter setup with the stiff hinge rig. So I've got 3 rods, all on the same setups, all on the helicopters, all on the stiff hinges, and the rods are now reset, ready for the night. I've got a rod near the wall, which is near to where my dad's fishing, because that area is producing a lot of fish. So I've found a spot which won't interfere with my dad, but still puts me in the area where these carp are coming out from, and my dad don't mind. So yeah, I've got my left arm rod out towards the wall, over a scattering of boiler. Middle rod is 30 yards out in open water on a nice firm clay spot over a scattering of boiler, and then my right hand rod is a couple of feet away from the bank, as per the bailiff's advice, over some chopped boiler. So yeah, they're the spots. You know the setups. I don't need to repeat what setups I'm using and why, because you've seen the session pan out as it's panned out. And yeah, the rods are now going to stay in till the morning, and yeah, when there's something to update you with, of course I'll update you. As for my dad, he's done the same. He's reset his rods. For some reason he's got away with it on the solid bags. He's had no bream interference, no twitchy runs, no knocks on the tip, nothing. He's just had silence, and then he's had nice screaming runs. So yeah, I am happy for him, because this session's definitely come together for him, and he does deserve it. So yeah, both of us have reset our rods for the night. When something happens, or if something happens during the night, like I always say, I'll be right back at you. If not, I'll speak to you in the morning. Fish number 4 for my dad, and I'm sure this one is over £20. And here is that same fish on the map, and this carp has now been weighed. So yeah, this carp weighed in at £22.8, and it's my dad's biggest fish so far on this session. Good morning everyone. So it's now what would have been the final morning of the 48-hour session, but I'm now doing an extra night. Yeah, I've managed to juggle a few things around, and yeah, I'm thankful that I can do an extra 24 hours. My dad can't due to work commitments, so my dad's gone now, but yeah, he's finished his session on 5 fish with 1 lost, and one of those fish was a 20 as well. So it's a great result, especially with it being the first time he's fished this venue. You will only see 4 carp in the vlog, because one of the carp he caught was really, I think it was like really early this morning. He didn't want to wake me for photos and all the rest of it. If he did, obviously I would have got up and done his pictures, but he didn't. He left me sleeping, which is fair enough. So yeah, that's why you'll only see 4 carp in the vlog. But yeah, he did finish on 5 carp with 1 lost. One of them was a 20, and the one that you won't see was a nice upper double, he said, another cracking fish. As for myself, obviously there were no updates last night. That's because nothing happened. I'm still just on, believe it or not, 1 bream and 1 lost carp. So yeah, I'm definitely up against it, it seems. But with this extra 24 hours now at my disposal, I'm really hoping I can turn it around. So with my dad leaving due to work commitments, he couldn't do the extra night, I went straight into his peg. I thought, there's no way I'm going to take another 24 hours for granted and just sit in the same peg doing the same thing, because I'll admit it's not working. So yeah, I went straight into what was my dad's peg, which as far as I'm concerned is the hot peg at the moment. And yeah, I think now I've got a really good chance of turning this session around. I'm now settled in, all the gear's been moved, everything's going smoothly so far. I've got the rods set up ready for the night ahead. There has been some other tactical changes, but I'll go into that later on, because as it stands right now, I'm just enjoying the sun, relaxing with my dog, and I'm fishing a floater. I've got a floater rod out. I'm literally looking at my pop-up now, because there's carp swimming literally right next to it. But yeah, I'm going to work it on the floater rod today, and then when I'm getting the rod set in the evening ready for the night ahead, I'll go into more of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and hopefully I can turn this session into a session to remember. Well guys, it's now around 7:30 p.m. This is the view from my bivvy and it's update time. So yeah, I worked it hard today again with the floater setup, and once again it didn't pay off. I never slacked off. I tried different baits, I kept casting towards showing fish, but it just wasn't meant to be. However, we are now slowly but surely heading into the hours of darkness, and that is when I think this peg is going to produce. So yeah, I've got 3 rods out now ready for the night ahead. I've took the helicopter setups and stiff hinge rigs off. Reason for that, well, basically my dad was catching on bottom baits, so I was on pop-ups, it wasn't working, so I've changed to a bottom bait setup. There may be nothing in it, it may be down to location, but with it being the first time I fished this venue and not really knowing a lot about the lake, any bit of intel I can get, anything that's going to give me a slight edge, I'm going to take on board. So that's what I've done. I've took the helicopter setup and stiff hinge rigs off, and now I've changed over to basic lead clip setups, and I've teamed that up with a slip D rig, and then my hook bait is a 20mm boiler, and I've tipped that off with some fake corn. Firstly, just to give the bait a bit of buoyancy with it being a big hook bait, and secondly, just to add a fleck of colour because the boilies I'm using are a washed out colour. So yeah, it's just personal preference. I've caught a lot of fish on that before, and yeah, let's see how we do. Yeah, I'm ready, and I'm raring to go. There's nothing else I can do now. The rods are going to stay in till the morning. Everything was spot on. I've got all the rods fishing towards marginal features, which is the way to fish this peg, it seems. That's what my dad did, and as you know, it was successful for him, so I don't see any reason why it can't be successful for me. So yeah, this is my last update of the night. As always, if I get something in the night, if something finally happens, obviously I'll be back at you. If not, I'll update you in the morning. Thank God for that. Finally, I have a carp on the bank. Taken on the left-hand rod, fish towards the marginal features, as my dad did, and yeah, it's finally paid off. 6 AM, the rod absolutely melted, and yeah, this is the result. A nice looking mid-double comp. And this is the setup that's proved effective on this session. So yeah, I'm using a basic lead clip arrangement. I've teamed that up with a 3-ounce heli lead, and yeah, as far as I'm concerned, heli leads are perfectly fine on lead clip setups as well as helicopter setups. Onto the rig then. So yeah, as I said earlier, I'm using a slip D rig, and this is my slip D rig. So we've got an anti-tangle sleeve at the top of the rig. Obviously that's just to prevent tangles and help the rig kick away from the lead. The material itself is a 20-pound semi-stiff coated braid that runs to a size 4 long shank, and then the D and a couple of inches above the hook is all exposed braid. So yeah, that's been stripped back obviously to improve the hooking mechanics of the rig. And then on the D is a micro ring swivel, and with the micro ring swivel I'm using bait floss to attach a 20mm boilie and a piece of fake corn, and that's what's proved effective on this session. Okay guys, so you've now seen the setup that I used to catch that carp earlier on, and yeah, now you're seeing me sat at home because it's now the end of the session. Overall, myself and my dad have really enjoyed our time at South Cliff Farm Fishery, and we've both agreed that we will both be returning at some point in the future. Anyway, after slipping back that common carp I caught on the final morning, I did fish for around another 2 to 3 hours, but nothing else happened. So I'm finishing this session on 1 large bream, 1 carp lost, and finally 1 carp caught. As for my dad, I've already said it, but I'm going to say it again. He's had a great session, and to be honest, he smashed it. He had 5 fish, lost 1 fish, and one of the fish he caught was a 20. So yeah, it was a big success for my dad. Anyway, enough of me going on. This is me checking out. And as always, thank you for watching Carp Gurus. And remember, like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on all that carpy action.
Carp Gurus.